B. Functions and roles of the UN in peacekeeping, development, and human rights. The United Nations UN plays a critical role in global governance, addressing multifaceted challenges through its core functions in peacekeeping, development, and human rights. These pillars represent interconnected efforts aimed at promoting stability, prosperity, and dignity worldwide. Here's an overview of the UN's functions and roles in these key areas. 1. Peacekeeping. Definition and mandate. UN peacekeeping aims to maintain international peace and security by deploying multinational forces to conflict zones, often under Chapter VI and VII of the UN Charter. Peacekeeping operations involve military, police, and civilian personnel, tasked with monitoring ceasefires, facilitating political processes, protecting civilians, and supporting peace-building efforts. Key functions. Conflict prevention. The UN engages in early warning, mediation, and preventive diplomacy to address emerging conflicts and prevent violence before it escalates. Peacekeeping operations authorized by the Security Council. COs deploy forces to stabilize post-conflict regions, monitor peace agreements, disarm combatants, and facilitate the return of refugees and displaced persons. Post-conflict reconstruction. UN peacekeepers assist in rebuilding institutions, promoting rule of law, demobilizing ex-combatants, and fostering reconciliation to sustain peace dividends. Examples of peacekeeping missions. UN mission in South Sudan. UNMISS protects civilians, supports humanitarian assistance, and monitors human rights in a complex conflict environment. UN interim force in Lebanon. UNIFIL monitors the cessation of hostilities between Israel and Lebanon, facilitates humanitarian access, and assists Lebanese authorities. 2. Development. UN Development System. The UN coordinates development efforts through specialized agencies, funds, and programs aimed at promoting sustainable economic growth, social progress, and environmental sustainability globally. Key functions. Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) adopted in 2015. The SDGs provide a blueprint for addressing global challenges such as poverty, inequality, climate change, and sustainable development by 2030. Capacity building. The UN supports capacity development in developing countries through technical assistance, knowledge sharing, and policy advice to strengthen governance, health, education, infrastructure, and economic sectors. Humanitarian assistance. UN agencies like UNICEF, UNHCR, and WFP deliver emergency aid, food security, health services, and shelter to populations affected by conflicts, natural disasters, and humanitarian crises. Examples of UN development agencies. UNDP, United Nations Development Programme, operates in over 170 countries to eradicate poverty, promote democratic governance, and achieve sustainable development. UNICEF, United Nations Children's Fund, protects children's rights, provides education, health care, and nutrition, especially in crisis-affected regions. UNHCR, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, protects refugees and displaced persons, ensures their rights, and facilitates durable solutions globally. 3. Human rights. The United Nations UN places a central focus on promoting and protecting human rights globally, guided by principles outlined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights (UDHR) and other international human rights treaties. This commitment is integral to fostering respect for human dignity, equality, and justice worldwide. Here's an in-depth exploration of the UN's role, functions, and key mechanisms in human rights. Universal Declaration of Human Rights (UDHR). The UDHR, adopted in 1948, serves as a foundational document, outlining fundamental human rights principles applicable to all people, regardless of nationality, ethnicity, religion, or other status. It affirms the inherent dignity and equal rights of all individuals. and forms the basis for subsequent international human rights treaties and conventions. Key functions of the UN in human rights: promotion and protection. UN Human Rights Council (HRC), established in 2006. The HRC is the UN's principal human rights body responsible for addressing human rights violations globally. It consists of 47 member states, elected by the General Assembly. The HRC examines human rights situations worldwide, conducts thematic and country-specific reviews and issues recommendations aimed at improving human rights practices. Special procedures and mechanisms. The HRC appoints independent human rights experts, known as special rapporteurs, to investigate and report on specific human rights issues or country situations. Special procedures also include working groups and commissions that focus on thematic areas, such as arbitrary detention, freedom of expression, and the rights of women and children. Technical assistance. The UN provides technical expertise, capacity building, and advisory support to governments, national human rights institutions, and civil society organizations. This assistance aims to strengthen legal frameworks, institutions, and practices related to human rights protection and promotion at the national level. Capacity building. UN agencies and programs, such as the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights (OHCHR), offer training workshops, seminars, and educational materials to enhance the knowledge and skills of stakeholders involved in human rights advocacy and governance. Advocacy and awareness. The UN raises awareness about human rights issues globally through campaigns, publications, and educational initiatives. It challenges discrimination, intolerance, and prejudice while promoting the principles of equality, non-discrimination, and inclusion. Education and empowerment. The UN supports educational programs and advocacy campaigns that empower marginalized and vulnerable groups to understand, assert, and defend their rights. This includes promoting access to justice, combating gender-based violence, and ensuring the rights of persons with disabilities. Examples of human rights mechanisms. UN Human Rights Council (HRC). The HRC conducts Universal Periodic Reviews (UPR) of member states, assessing their human rights records and making recommendations for improvement. It engages in interactive dialogues with governments, civil society, and other stakeholders to address human rights challenges globally. Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights (OHCHR). The OHCHR serves as the UN's focal point for promoting and protecting human rights worldwide. It provides legal and policy advice, supports human rights defenders, and facilitates engagement with governments and civil society to uphold international human rights standards. Field operations. OHCHR field presences in various countries support national efforts to strengthen human rights institutions, promote accountability, and provide protection to individuals and communities at risk. Integration and challenges. The UN integrates human rights considerations across its mandates, including peacekeeping, development, and humanitarian action, recognizing the interconnectedness of human rights with global challenges, such as conflict, poverty, and climate change. Challenges to effective human rights protection include geopolitical divisions, resource constraints, and the need for greater accountability and responsiveness in addressing human rights violations. Conclusion. The UN's commitment to human rights is foundational to its mission of promoting peace, security, and sustainable development globally. Through the UDHR, specialized mechanisms like the UN Human Rights Council, and the advocacy efforts of the OHCHR, the UN strives to advance universal principles of human dignity, equality, and justice. By promoting awareness, providing technical assistance, and holding states accountable, the UN plays a vital role in protecting vulnerable populations and promoting a world where human rights are universally respected and upheld. 4. Conclusion. The United Nations serves as a cornerstone of international cooperation and multilateralism, playing a pivotal role in advancing peace, development, and human rights globally. Through its diverse functions and specialized agencies, the UN strives to promote stability, prosperity, and dignity for all people, ensuring a more just, equitable, and sustainable world for present and future generations. Despite challenges, the UN remains essential in addressing complex global challenges and fostering a shared vision of peace and prosperity for humanity.